All right, all right. Boom. Dang. How did you like that intro, Don?
Pretty sweet.
Cool. Hey, today I've got my partner, my friend, Don Yoakum. Don, how's it going today?
Oh, it's going awesome, Tom. Thank you.
Awesome.
Well, great. It's a good life.
It's a good life. Yeah, for sure. In Mexico, man. Well, hey, let's just jump right into it. You know, we met several years ago. You were at ReMax at the time, and we connected. And then we went on to, and you were a top producer at ReMax, and then we partnered at Keller Williams, and then from there now Exp Realty. But I'd like to unpack that just a little bit. When we first met, and you're at ReMax, maybe you could describe a little bit about that model and how things were going.
Sure. Well, ReMax is fun. That's where I spent my first full year in the business, where I closed 51 deals. And as you can recall, when we met, I think it was somewhere around 91, 92, you and I were hammered away on expireds and occasionally would come into contact with each other. And out of that, a very friendly.
Don was top producer in the region for ReMax, and we definitely went toe to toe a time or two, right?
Absolutely. But what was great about that, and this is really the spirit of all of real estate, is there's a level of co-opetition, right? Because we're competing with each other, but we also need to cooperate. And at least in our case, of course, we became friends and mountain biking buddies, and then went on to do a bunch of death rides together. And it's been a wonderful journey. And ReMax, for me at least, was a great experience. I had started in a little boutique, which was great. My dad was mentoring me there and did just an amazing job, which I'm very grateful for. And then I went on to ReMax, and I guess what I could say about ReMax is that, at the time it was the place for top producers to be. And it was, they give you a lot of autonomy, and they basically just didn't get in your way. And so at that stage of my life, I was such a driver that not getting in my way meant I could travel a lot of territory. And I did, and it was fun. Although my real estate journey did eventually lead me to Keller Williams, and that was a great experience. Keller Williams provided what I perceived to be kind of a risk-free 100%, whereas ReMax had brought the 100% concept into the real estate industry. Now, Keller Williams was saying, hey, we'll get you to 100%, but instead of these high monthly fixed fees, you'll pay a split until you reach a certain benchmark. That was a novel approach. And actually, when I began with them as the team leader, of course, Tom Days was my first recruit, baby.
Didn't you go on to build 10 Keller Williams offices from the ground up, pretty much?
Yes, I did. Yeah. Wayne and I did all of Sacramento together, and then Gene Frederick and myself partnered up in Cupertino and Palo Alto, and I did Santa Rosa and Tahoe as well. And yeah, it was a great run, and I really feel grateful for the learnings that I got from Keller Williams. When I was there, I used to articulate their business model as a agent-oriented company supported by a learning-based environment, and it was very nice. And I would say that.
Did you have any challenges with that model?
Any knowledge?
Challenges? Did you have any challenges?
Challenges. Yeah. I'm sorry. Sure. I guess that, we in life, I think we tend to judge ourselves by our intentions, and others will judge us by our actions and or the outcome. And I think that Gary went into the idea of Keller Williams profit sharing in a way that would enable people to create some recurring income that would be material and maybe even enable them to retire from the business with some dignity at one point. And as it turned out, that wasn't necessarily the case for most people. Myself and a small minority of other people did produce significant profit sharing, but for the agent, even an agent that might spend some energy focusing on it, it just wasn't a material amount, and so that that treadmill or that hamster wheel that agents are on for their careers, there was no exit from Keller Williams. And on the ownership side, I did provide ownership opportunities to a handful of people in each of my market centers. You were a recipient of that, of course, being #1 KW agent in the world 7 times, certainly well deserved. But the problem was, I'd build these offices at 200 people, 300 in some cases, but only 4 or 5 would get ownership opportunities. And that ownership, mind you, is in a very closely held private company, so not marketable in the public markets. And because price is a function of supply and demand, it was a relatively limited opportunity. It wasn't a bad opportunity. In fact, I would say it was a good one, but it was too limited and not material enough to really be able to influence the major populace of my market center. And so, yeah, that was a challenge.
Well, so how did you take what you learned and those challenges and brought them forward to the EXP model?
Good question. Well, for one thing, as a team leader, that's boot camp for recruiting, man. I would say, by the way, that recruiting is the master skill of business. The ability to attract and retain great talent is something that really can be applied in almost any business environment. And so that skill I certainly took with me to EXP. And there, Glenn Sanford had been at KW like me, and he had seen the strengths and the weaknesses of that business model. And he then, first of all, he did something that I didn't fully appreciate when I first did my due diligence on EXP. And that was, he started by looking at what really delivered value to the consumer and the agent, and he stripped all the other costs out. So the typical bricks and mortar costs that would burden a office, a brokerage, or a market center were absent. And so that enabled him to share ownership with the agents, and instead of a very nominal profit share interest, he created revenue share. And by doing that, he made it material for a large number of people. And a kind of a result of that, creating that material economic model, is that it created a level of support that I've never seen in the real estate industry. The peer-to-peer support is just crazy. I mean, I know you have seen it, and it was a very pleasant surprise.
Absolutely. And that was there were several things that also intrigued me, with EXP Realty, the economic model, cloud-based, no brick and mortar. And I believe that's one of the reasons of our exponential growth, especially this last year with COVID. And then, of course, obviously the stock has gone up, 500% just this year, as well as the revenue share and also the collaboration as you mentioned. So moving forward, what do you believe is the future of EXP and the future of the real estate industry?
Well, I would say pretty promising on the EXP front. I have never had the great fortune of being in a company that had such a tremendous value proposition advantage in the marketplace as EXP enjoys today. That being said, it was pretty darn good at KW for a bit, particularly from 2010 or so. I felt like I had a unique advantage in the marketplace at that time with them. But what EXP has done is they brought together, as you said, a cloud-based business model with all of the crucial structural ingredients to a successful brokerage without the burden of the peripheral things that are kind of the nice to haves. And, to be honest, Tom, I just don't think that brokerages will survive in the future with costs that are not adding value to the consumer, either directly or indirectly through the agent. And so I believe that's going to cause a lot of disruption, unfortunately, for those folks that are in a bricks and mortar environment. And as you mentioned, I mean, that trend was already moving in that direction. COVID accelerated that. So what would have theoretically probably happened over 4 or 5 years happened in 4 or 5 months, right? And so the outcome of that is people recognize, oh my gosh, those guys over at EXP are perfectly positioned for the new world environment, so to speak. And of course, the investors recognize that as well. And now the stock is, one of the strongest growth stocks in the NASDAQ, actually. So it's pretty interesting. But, the beautiful thing about the real estate industry, whether economic times are going up or they're going down, there are transactions and we get paid by the transaction. And so, one of the things that you have done so well through your career is look at these trends in the marketplace, and then you've positioned yourself and your team in front of those so that when we went to an REO market, you were ready, right? And then coming out of the market when the institutional buyers were coming, you aligned yourself with Blackstone and other folks that would take advantage of that. And so now, of course, you had the wisdom with a little of my help to align yourself with the EXP, and look what's happening now, right? I mean, we're building just a tremendous organization and having a lot of fun doing it, really.
It really is a lot of fun. And well, my favorite saying, Wayne Gretzky, skate to where the puck is going to be. And as you mentioned, whether it was foreclosures, REOs, Blackstone, huge fund, building a team, flips, I've always felt that I've been able to skate to where the puck is going to be. But one problem and challenge that I always had is I always have felt like if I don't keep my foot on the gas pedal, then my income and my revenue is going to slow down. So this is really the first time in my life, in my career, been in the business over 35 years, when I feel like I have gone to where the puck is going to be, which is true leverage. And with the companies that I've worked with in the past, it was really only the owners, the brokers, or the regional owners that were able to really take advantage of that leverage. But with EXP, truly able to take advantage of the leverage, and that's where the puck is going to be. And like you said, it's a lot of fun. So, well, cool. Hey, Don, thanks for joining.
Absolutely.
Do you have any final words before we wrap up here?
Well, just one thought, and to echo your comments a bit, is that I feel what EXP has given us is the opportunity of brokerage ownership without the broker liability and capital risk. So now, instead of my just building a company and investing a tremendous amount of capital and taking on a lot of risk in that process, I can build a sales organization on the Exp platform, and anyone that I would attract can do the same. And that's really important because, as you know, you've been in the business a minute or two, and we don't attend a lot of retirement parties in real estate. And now what EXP is making possible is not just the franchise owners or the regional people to have retirement level income. A good old fashioned, hardworking agent that has influence and talent and would like to lead and has the ability to lead a team in an empowering way. Oh my gosh, you know, it's just an unbelievable opportunity. So I thank you for joining me here at EXP, and I know a lot of others have done the same. And you know, like you said, I think you know that what's different too is, and it's probably a good thing because I don't probably have the same drive I did when I was 25 and fresh into real estate. Is I'm just having fun, so it's not like work, you know, and I'm very grateful for that. So thanks for having me, Tom.
Well, awesome. Well, thanks for joining us. So, Don, if someone wants to get a hold of you, what's the best way to reach out?
Yeah, Don at proinsight.com would probably be the best. Just email me there, Don at proinsight.com.
Awesome. Well, hey, Don, thanks so much. And I'm sure we'll see you soon. So thanks for joining us, everyone. And have a great day. Thanks, you guys.
Thank you.
See you, Don.
Yeah, thank you, Tom.